Chapter 7 was last trimester. Okay. Alright, when we talked about things being proportional last trimester, remember it was our ratios were equal. When we had a ratio equal to another ratio. So, as we do this, we're going to start with we have 3 things that we're going to do. So if you want to split it up into 3 parts. Okay, if we just talk about measurements, for measurements we just compare one side to another side. And we can just write the ratio of side over side. I'm not looking at you, I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out what's going on behind you. And a side over side. But as we look at these, they have to match up. So we're going to be matching if it's from one shape, they're going to be matching across from each other today. So this one goes with this one, going across. And this one goes with this one. Now technically with the sides, we could match it the other way so that blue goes with blue and then brown goes with brown. But it's going to be easier to keep it this way because we have other ones that have to stay that spot. Alright, if I do surface areas, again we're going to compare a side to a side. Okay, Joey, Carter. Both of you. Okay, but you're both talking to each other. Okay, and then we have surface area and surface area. But as we look at this with our sides to our surface area, it's not just straight across like that. What we have to do with our sides is we have to take it to the parentheses, we have to take the whole thing, and then to the power of 2, because it's area. Okay, but again, we're matching this up side to side, or across from each other. So this top side goes with this top surface area. This bottom side goes with the bottom surface area. Okay, and then our last one we have is volume. Volume, again, we're doing side over side. And volume over volume. But this time with our sides, we're going to take it to the power of 3. You got it. Hey. Okay, again, though, we're lining up across those matching parts, matching from the same shape. All right, you have a glue-in, and then we have 3 problems with that glue-in that we're going to do. They're all very similar to each other, so let's kind of figure it out. Should be pretty easy.
Oh, it might be because we haven't actually been. Like, you guys actually not been.
Yeah,
It was
one
nice.
of the bits is
It was raining. I can't see. The windshield was foggy.
All right, go ahead and glue this in.
I don't know.
Like I was saying. Letter.
All right, so glue this in. And there are 3 problems that we're doing with it. Okay, so we're in the middle of notes. Shh, Lang, I got it. You don't need to help out.
Ow.
Okay, shh.
I didn't get it going.
Okay, I'm coming. 1 second. Just chill. Alright, so we have shapes A and B here. We're given different information. To start off with, we have a part that we can compare. So that's going to be the spot that we always compare to, are those sides that are measuring the same amount. Okay, so we have similar solids. So as we look, I'm going to do A in blue, and I'm going to do B in brown. Okay, shh, you guys. It's literally the last notes of the whole year. All right, so what we know to start off with is we know that in A, we have this side that is 8, and we can compare that to the side with 5. So first we're going to find the height of A. Okay, so as I look at A, because I have part of A is missing, I want A to be in the numerator. So on one part of here, I'm going to have my sides. And on the other side is where my height is going to be. Okay, Hawa, we're in the middle of notes. Okay. So as I take a look, what is the side that we have for A? We have 8. And what's the height of A? I'm going to work across. Nope, the height we don't know, so it's going to be X. Now on the bottom is going to be my B's. So what's the length I have for B? Nope, the side length. 5. And then we're looking at the height. So what's the height for B? 25. Okay, shh. Carter. No. And at the end I can. Just skip 5 lines. Okay, and then our goal here is to solve for X. We could cross multiply, that's one way to do it. If you like to do it that way, that works just fine. I like to just think X, to get X by itself, I just have to get rid of this dividing by 25. So how do we undo dividing 25? Multiply by 25, both sides. Joey, hi. No. You. Okay, so we're doing 8 divided by 5 times 25. And we get 40. Okay, and it's a height. Okay, Faria. You guys, I get one pair to stop talking and then another pair starts talking. Just shh. All of you. Shh. Shh. Doesn't matter if you're caught up, you're still talking. Not listening. All right, for height. How do we measure height? What would it be? 40 meters, 40 square meters, or 40 cubic meters? Just meters for height. Okay, we're going to do 2 more. Now we're going to find the surface area, but when we find surface area, it's going to be for what? Which one are we missing? B. Hey, shh. Okay, so we're finding the surface area of B. So this time when I do my sides on one side and my surface area on the other side, what else needs to be included in how I set this up? You look back at the top, what did we know for surface area? It has to be parentheses into the power of 2. Is that the sides or the surface area? The sides. So we're going to do that parentheses, power of 2. But this time, because I'm missing B, I'm going to put B in the top, because I always like X to be my numerator. So what is the side that goes with B? The side from the solid. The surface area is X. What's the side that went with the solid, with the prism? 5. Hawa. You're watching TikTok while we're in the middle of class. Okay, so now I'm going to compare 8 to the other surface area, which is 512. So we're always going to go back to this 5 and 8 to compare. But this time we put 5 on top because I wanted that X to also be on top in that numerator. So I did flip it around so that that X was in the numerator. That way I could solve it a little bit faster. But again, solids go across from each other today. Okay, because I have X in that numerator, all I need to do to solve is get rid of the dividing by 512. If you wanted to do the cross product, you could, but you would first have to get rid of the parentheses, so you'd have to do that squared. Then you could cross product. Because I did it this way, all I'm going to do is get rid of dividing. And how do we undo divide? Multiply. So in my calculator, I'm putting in that whole thing. Parentheses, 5 over 8. Parentheses squared times 512. Okay, and we get 200. So for surface area, we're going to say surface area equals 200. Is it going to be meters, square meters, or cubic meters? Square meters. All right, we have one more. Last thing we're going to do is find the volume of A. So when we set up our ratios, this time we're going to compare our sides to the volumes. Okay, as I compare sides to volumes, with volume, what else do I need? Parentheses into the power of 3. So with my sides, it's be parentheses, power of 3. Now the hardest part about today is going to be deciding, do I want 8 over 5 or 5 over 8? Do I want it A over B or B over A? And that goes with what we're missing. We're missing the volume of A. So I want A to be on top. I want A over B. So X goes on top. That's from A. What's my side that goes with A? The 5 or the 8? 8. So these have to match, 8 and X. Okay, and then on the bottom would be 5 and 375. Okay, we're always matching across. Okay, now if you flipped it the other way, if you had 5 over 8, then you'd have to have 375 over X. And the only really good way to solve that at that point would be to do that cross product, to find the parentheses and then cross product it. You get the same answer. It's just that if you're going to set it up, you might as well just set it up in the easiest way. This is the easiest way, but again, it's okay to set it up a little bit different if you had it flipped. Okay? So again, in my calculator, to get rid of a dividing by 375, we are going to multiply by 375. So in parentheses, 8 divided by 5, parentheses to the power of 3, times 375. We get 1,536. Now don't put away your notebooks quite yet. I just want to talk about some logic here. 1,536. So first off, when we say V equals volume equals, we'll say 1,536 square meters, cubic meters, or just meters. Cubic, so power of 3. All right, so last thing that I want to talk about, because this is something that happens on the test a lot, is that students, for some reason, since this is the last lesson, a lot of kids don't practice it, and then they don't do well on it on the test. Okay, use some thinking to this. Which shape is bigger, A or B? A. So after you find your answer, when I find the height of A, the height is 40. Should A be more than B? Yes, 40 is big. A is bigger. So 40 is good. 40 is bigger. Okay, as I look at B in surface area, which surface area should be bigger, A or B? A. So if I had solved this and I had gotten a number bigger than 512, that tells me that I probably didn't do something right. Okay? The bigger and smaller should apply to all the measurements. Okay, so same thing with volume. A is bigger, so our volume should be bigger than 375. Okay, so that's just a really easy way to double check your work. If you get a number that's not quite in the same comparison. All right, real quick, on the board, on the front, on the whiteboard is a lot of important dates.